For those of you in red states who want the Republican orthodoxy, who want the conservative orthodoxy, remember what you're doing to yourselves.
Republicans in Congress have been saying for years that the ACA is broken and that they want to make it better, but they've never proposed a plan, only promises upon promises of one to come. Just watch Republican Senator Bernie Moreno of Ohio.
If the government reopened tomorrow, do you think Republican leaders have a plan on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're saying that Republicans do have a plan.
Absolutely.
What is that plan?
Well, I mean, we have to have
people see it.
Sure. We have to have PBM reform. We have to look at the ways that we have a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse in the healthcare system. We have to let the marketplace work. There's no transparency or competition. It's going to take 3 or 4 months to really bring a consensus to that plan. In the meantime, what are we going to do? Keep the government closed for 3 or 4 months every time that we have a policy debate? This is nuts.
Okay, so is there a plan ready tomorrow, or you're saying it's going to take 3 to 4 months to coalesce around a plan?
Look, we have different Republicans. For example, Senator Rick Scott, that's brilliant on this topic, that has a lot of amazing ideas. But yeah, of course, we have to build consensus. This is not a one-man show that runs the United States Senate.
What is someone who has open enrollment starting November 1st supposed to do in response to the idea that it would take 3 to 4 months to coalesce around a plan?
Look, Obamacare is a total and complete disaster. Having the COVID era.
What's Republicans' plan to counter that? I think is my question.
I'm answering it for you. Look, we can't fix Obamacare in 3 months.
I've had a lot of years to try to fix it. That sure sounded, Jake, like concepts of a plan.
I don't know what to say about this. I mean, I watched the clip this morning, and a couple things he says is true, are true. Number one, it will take a long time. It won't. I know Senator Moreno's new around here. It will take way more than 3 to 4 months to come up with a plan that Republicans can coalesce around. And when asked about his plan, what he suggested was pharmacy benefit manager reform, which I'm sorry to laugh, but that's one element of one thing. That's like saying that I've broken my leg and I'm gonna, sit down and that's gonna solve it. I mean, that's not gonna solve it, whether you think Obamacare is good, bad, or indifferent. And in the lead up to a midterm election, an election that Democrats are planning, are vowing, are promising to make about healthcare, that it's not great. And I just want to say one other thing, and this is back to your last hour, Katie, when you had Patty Murray on. I was watching and I was texting you critiques at the same time. This entire shutdown is still about Obamacare. It's not about appropriations. It's not about spending. It's about solving this healthcare issue, which no one is any closer to being able to solve. So I don't know how we get out of this.
President Obama spent his entire political capital on this thing, and Republicans have been trying to overturn it or roll it back since it was passed. They have had 10 years plus to do it or to come up with something new. And yet we still get that gobbledygook from people like Bernie Moreno about how there's plans. Look,
American healthcare is a mess. It's been a mess for decades. Democrats, going back to Harry Truman, have been trying to fix it. When Obama got into office, they said, look, what can we do? How can we make the system better, working within the system we had? And they came up with Obamacare. It was nobody's ideal solution, but they did the hard work of negotiating, of compromising, and putting together a plan that, let's not forget, has reduced the number of Americans without health insurance from 45 million to 25 million, and has guaranteed access for people with pre-existing conditions, two things that were not true before. Now, Republicans don't like it. They don't like the government spending. They don't like the regulation. And that is a completely legitimate point of view. That's what they believe. They're conservatives.
And I think if you look at Project 25, it probably outlines Mike Johnson's healthcare plan. One of those big things is the cut, not only in Medicaid, but really anything to do with the ACA is just going to go away. I don't think they can get all the health lobbyists together to actually get a really good plan on how they want to do it right now. The other thing, too, that the issue that they have in rural districts, when I was in the 5th District of Virginia, it was 10,000 square miles. We had the most federally funded health centers, and most of the Republican voters actually relied on the ACA and also Medicaid. So it's really interesting. They're going to have a voter problem that's so big for them. It's just sort of...
They just want to fix it and own it. I mean, you have Josh Hawley saying that this is the party of the working class now, and we can put up a map that'll show you who relies on the ACA, and it'll be Republican districts. We can put up a map and show you here it is, who's going to have their Obamacare subsidies impacted most, and it's going to be at most Republican Republican.
The issue that you have with the Republican Party right now is they don't know what to do because there's this lack of talent. You have people who, are still doing hearings on angels and demons. And I think right now you got to have a serious adults in the room to actually fix healthcare. And right now, all they can do is try to destroy it.
But what you said is exactly right. This will disproportionately, impact Republican states, Republican districts. And I don't see there's a way to not get the blame if you're a Republican.
Of course, you got to get the blame if you are a Republican. Why? Because it's your fault. Because you're the one that doesn't want to renew the subsidies. You're the ones that want to go to Obamacare and have just a concept of a plan that is never, ever realized. So, of course, you ought to get blamed. So, folks, let's be real here. You see that map that she showed, that map that Katie Tur showed on the screen. That is the winning map for Democrats in 2026. But here's the kicker. Donald Trump is doing some magic. He wants to get you used to seeing troops on the streets and think that he can scare people. You remember that woman that we showed who was scared of the migra, even as she had her green card? You have also Latino looking Americans who have their passports, American passports. And yeah, they think they're going to be scared to go out there and vote. Well, let me tell you something, people. Activists that are listening to me right now, we got a lot of work to do. We got to, first of all, make sure that realize and point out that all these folks, all these white Christian nationalists are paper tigers. The real people are the folks that you see in our chat right now. These are the American heroes that you see. And these are going to be the American activists that are going to go out there and make sure that the right people, or all people, go out there and exercise their rights to vote and vote accordingly. But let me tell you further, they have already realized that the vote's going to be big and a lot of people are not going to be deterred. And a lot of Republicans are going to be voting blue. They know that. So let me tell you what's in stage right now. First of all, let me just tell you a good piece of news that I got today. A friend of mine called today. She has a progressive group out here. And she says, Egberto, we got a lot of new people in after the No Kings March. And she says, and in the group, 6 walked in that are Republicans. Let me tell you, first of all, if 6 Republicans walked into this woman's progressive meeting, multiply that by orders of magnitude because it means a lot more. Because when Republicans go progressive or Republicans go, we're not going to do certain things, they don't go out there and shout to the world and say, I am no longer a Republican. They're quiet about it. If you have that many in her small group that came overtly and do it, that mean under that scar, that behind the scene, there is an avalanche waiting to come through. All of our country's problems, from polarization to ignorance on domestic and international issues to a complete misunderstanding of our economic and healthcare systems, are a direct result of a derelict mainstream media that too often bend over backwards to support corporate or bought politicians' wants as opposed to the people's needs for real information to make their lives better. Independent media is the only solution to inform truthfully and factually. Why? Because our loyalties are to you, the ones who fund us with small dollar contributions and subscriptions. Please consider supporting our independent media platforms by subscribing to our Egberto Off the Record newsletter at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Again, that is politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. It's an investment that pays incalculable dividends.